Here's an urgent alert from the Student Loan Hotline. The average student loan debt is $25,000. Have you been out of college for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? If you are struggling with paying off your student loan, if you are past due, we can help. Nationwide Student Loan Relief can now restructure your student loans. We can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop harassing collection calls, and even eliminate your student loan payment. If you can't afford your student loans, or if you're past due and you need help, you must call right now. We will restructure your loan or your money back, and that's a guarantee. So call the Student Loan Hotline right now. 800-949-8707. 800-949-8707. 800-949-8707.
Welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow, the sports professor. This week, an Everything Indy 500 episode. We had a little bit of that last week. We had 2 interviews last week about the Indy 500. We're bringing those back, and we're hitting you with more. Rick Horrow, the sports professor. This is Beyond the Scoreboard. Here's Rick.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that gets inside the trillion-dollar news, business, marketing, endorsement, and deal-making aspects of sports, with a key aspect for you, the fans. Subscribe to our iTunes feed. Look for us on Stitcher, Google Play, Audio Boom. And this is a big week for sports, even bigger than before. I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow with Beyond the Scoreboard. United Airlines buying the naming rights to the L.A. Coliseum for more than $70 million over 15 years, the richest naming rights deal among college football stadiums. At $4.7 million a year, United's deal will surpass the 10-year, $41 million deal Alaska Airlines signed with the University of Washington for Husky Stadium rights in 2015. Naming rights revenue expected to help offset costs of a $270 million Coliseum renovation, slated to be open in time for the 2019 USC football season. The Memorial Coliseum will be retained in the name, and United CEO Oscar Munoz is a USC grad in nearby LAX, one of United's biggest U.S. hubs. Down the road, Rams and Chargers' $2.6 billion stadium in Inglewood will be delayed almost a year from its originally planned opening in 2019 and now scheduled to be ready for the 2020 NFL season. Due to record rainfall during critical construction phases this past winter, the Rams will remain at the Coliseum for 2019, the Chargers at StubHub Center. While the rain was a pain, the delay definitely a silver lining for naming rights holders, United and StubHub, which will both benefit from the additional exposure. The fate of 2 potential future MLS teams not decided until December. An announcement of 2 expansion teams was expected by mid-year, but MLS officials indicated an announcement of which cities chosen won't come until the end of the year. The SAC Soccer Group in Sacramento confident it'll be one of the 2 cities selected in 7 months, especially after purchasing Sacramento Republic FC, making the USL club part of the bid for inclusion on MLS. On paper, Sacramento checked all 3 boxes: ownership, soccer market, and stadium. I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow, and that's Beyond the Scoreboard.
Guys don't really talk about antiperspirant. Despite that, 91% of Dove Men Plus Care users recommend it. Here's what they said.
It blocks the, perspiration, I think is the fancy word.
It's comfortable. It smells nice. My girl likes the smell.
Well, it's
hard.
I think it's quite masculine. My underarms aren't the worst thing at the gym.
It's kind of like the Hoover Dam from my armpits, I guess.
Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant. Tough on sweat, not on skin.
Hey there, did you know that with a bachelor's degree, on average, you could make almost twice as much over a lifetime than a person with just a high school diploma? It's true. According to the 2012 U.S. Census Bureau, college grads with a bachelor's degree make almost twice as much as high school grads. Now, going back to school is easier than ever at Independence University. Log on and complete coursework from the park, or the beach, or even your couch watching the kids. And Independence University gives you the tools, a free tablet and laptop for undergrad students to use and keep when they graduate. That's right. Get a laptop so you can go to college from anywhere. Take the first step to a new career in business, information technology, healthcare, or graphic arts. Call to find the online degree program that's right for you, and you could be on your way to increasing your earning potential.
800-797-1256. 800-797-1256. That's 800-797-1256. Do you use the blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. That's 800-223-0992.
This is Bill's yard, and Bill's a grill master, not a grass expert. Still, no weeds belong in this backyard barbecue kingdom. And with Scott's Turf Builder Weed and Feed, Bill's greasy thumb is just as good as a green thumb. Because Scott's thickens lawns to help crowd out over 50 pesky weeds. So Bill can defeat invaders, green up his lawn, and hold his spatula high. This is a Scott's Yard. Pick up Scott's Weed and Feed today.
Welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow, the sports professor. This week, an Everything Indy 500 episode. We had a little bit of that last week. We had 2 interviews last week about the Indy 500. We're bringing those back, and we're hitting you with more. Rick Horrow, the sports professor. This is Beyond the Scoreboard. Here's Rick.
Representing the inaugural Indy Women in Tech LPGA tournament in September. The Indy 500, a great platform for IMS to deepen its ties to the community, and for locally based companies like Guggenheim Insurance, title sponsor of the LPGA event, to deepen its ties to the Memorial Day race heritage. And the Foyt Group is all about that development. A really novel sponsorship with Zach Veach and Guggenheim, but most important, A.J. Foyt tells us about the racing business. I got to tell you, he is a legitimate racing icon. I caught up to him at the ticket unveiling for the Women in Tech Championship and the unveiling of the Veach car in Indianapolis last week, and an icon is an understatement. He was born in Houston, first 4-time winner of the Indy 500 in 1961, believe it or not, 64, 67, and 90 and 77. The only driver to win the Indy 500, Daytona in 72, the 24-hour of Le Mans in 67. He holds 67 IndyCar wins and 7 IndyCar championships as a driver. He was voted Driver of the Century. That's all you need to know about A.J. Foyt. He's also been NASCAR, IndyCar, and the like. A great perspective on the entire industry, A.J. Foyt.
So we've already heard a little bit of a story from A.J. Foyt, but a first-time winner of the Indy 500, 61, 64, 67, 77. Only driver to win Indy 500, Daytona, 24 hours of Le Mans, 67 IndyCar wins, 7 IndyCar championships as a driver. When you say you're voted Driver of the Century, you got to stop there. What else are you going to say? I mean, it's just amazing.
I'm just glad to be named amongst some of the great race drivers. A lot of people, you're the best. No, I'm just glad to be named amongst them.
Wow.
Because in their days, it'd be like golf. Yeah. Golfers today are some great golfers.
Right.
But then you look at Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus and Rodriguez and all them. Yeah. What says they could beat them in their days with what they were playing with? Right. That's the same way racing's changed with the cars and technology. Yeah. So I'm just glad to be named amongst the greats.
Well, and that's the only way you can probably deal with the argument, because it's one of those things where there is no answer. Nobody has a right answer.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Who will ever know?
Yeah, exactly. But your perspective is very important because you can talk about the barometer of change. You win your first Daytona 500 in 72 and the 24-hour Le Mans in 67. So 67, that's a lot of years. That's 50 years or more. 60 years when you can see the changes in the business. So what's the biggest change in the industry?
The biggest change I see is safety. I mean, when it comes right down to it, because I've got a lot of burn scars where you hit and the cars blew up and all that. That's the biggest thing. The seats that you got before, when you run stock car at Daytona, you had a seat about like this. Now you're in kind of a capsule. So what I guess I'm saying is that's the biggest change is safety in racing today compared to what it used to be.
Are the drivers, you kind of answered this, but I'm asking anyway, are the drivers better today? Are they stronger today? Are they more mentally tough today? Or was it the good old days?
Well, they're not near as strong as some of the older guys. Not even close. And I'll tell you why, because the cars are so much easier to drive today because you got all the ground effects and all that. And like when I had to change jets or something halfway through a 500-mile race, I had to do it manually. Now we tell them on a computer, go to map 1 or map 2 or whatever.
Okay.
The steering wheel costs more today than my racing whole operation used to be when I raced. So what I tell a lot of the young drivers, don't get mad and throw that steering wheel anymore because you're talking about a half.
You're going to pay for it.
$50,000. Yeah. You're going to pay for it.
You're going to pay for it.
Because I throwed many of them, but then it wasn't about $40.
So they're not stronger. Are they smarter? Are they more strategic? Or was it the good old days?
I don't think they're any smarter, and the reason I say that because they're driving everything operating off of computers now.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like in golf. Look at what Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus and all them played with. And look at your clubs today, what they're playing with. You'll never know if them golfers were as great as these or were they, you just don't know because it'll never happen. So you can just look back, them were some great golfers and some of my idols, you know, back there. And just like Ben Hogan always wore his gloves. And then last time I won Indy, I said 67, he seen my red gloves, and everybody else wore their fireproof one. And I got scars on my hand. I could not drive with them real thick gloves. And I guess I still got about, he must have sent me 25 or 30 pair, and I still got about 2 or 3 brand new pair because you always wore them out. But I always raced in golf gloves. If you ever look at my hands, I always wore the golf gloves. So back then, you had to have feel in your hands and also your butt.
Yeah.
Now the computer tells you everything.
Well, I don't want to ask you what you wore on your butt. We'll leave that one alone for another day. But here's a kind of final question for you: is the industry going in the right direction? Is it better today? The business of NASCAR, of Indy racing, the sport itself, is it better today, or was it better years ago?
Well, I think years ago the crowds were bigger and picking up every day better and better now. And because like when I started in stock cars and modifieds at home and midget, people followed you. It'd be like some of your amateur golfers. They start real little, and as they go bigger, you got a fan base that follows them until they get to the top. And that's what you don't have today with the race drivers. They come in, and a lot of their parents, they got a lot of money. They buy them a ride because they know it's a lot safer. But back then, they didn't want to mess with it because it's very easy to go 6 foot underground.
Yeah. Very easy to go 6 foot underground, but the guy didn't do it, and he is a legitimate icon, and I'm honored to have you do this. Thank you, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Nice to be with you.
We have another Foyt as well. Larry Foyt, the president of A.J. Foyt Racing, his biological grandson and adopted son of A.J. Foyt. Born in Waller, Texas, he drove 04, 05, and 06 the Indianapolis 500 for A.J. Foyt Enterprises. And he also drove in NASCAR. He got the Foyt perspective in both areas as well. And he began to take over the management responsibility for A.J. Foyt Enterprises in 2007. 10 years of management, driving NASCAR, driving IndyCar. Larry Foyt sure can give us some perspective as we head into the Indy 500.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, in the boardroom. An interesting event, to be sure, the merger of golf and sports, but all in the context of business. The Indy Women in Tech Championship held in September at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're here to unveil a car that Guggenheim is underwriting on behalf of Indy Women in Tech. But more important, we're here to learn a little bit more about the business of racing generally, the business of A.J. Foyt Racing, and who better, Larry Foyt, president of A.J. Foyt Racing. How are you?
How are you?
Good. Thank you very much for doing this. So you drove in the 05, 04, 06 Indianapolis 500 Indianapolis 500 for A.J. Foyt Enterprises. How scary was it driving for your dad?
Well, I had driven for him for a while, so I was used to it over in the NASCAR series.
Yeah.
So, but my dream was always Indianapolis. This race is what I grew up coming every year of my life, and watching Dad race in it leaves quite an impression on a young kid. So even though my career ended up heading toward NASCAR and stock cars, my dream was to get to Indianapolis and drive an Indy car around Indy, so I was just glad I got to do it.
Well, we'll certainly talk to your dad about the perspective of racing then and racing now. But give me your perspective on it as a NASCAR driver, on an Indy driver. Comment generally about both businesses. Have they gone at the same speed? Are they different? Are they similar to where they were when you were, actively participating?
Absolutely. Well, and business is actually the reason I ended up going to NASCAR, because back then there was the split in the IndyCar leagues, which everyone talks about, the split, and which we're still recovering from, but it feels like right now IndyCar has huge momentum. The split seems like long ago, and everyone's back together, and IndyCar's growing again and has a great feel around it. Business-wise, to have sponsors like Guggenheim come on board and be tied with this LPGA event is just great for IndyCar.
The following update is for drivers who pay too much for car insurance due to DUIs, DWIs, tickets, or anything else. By now, you know all too well that SR22 auto insurance is way more than you'd ever want to pay. You probably thought you didn't have a choice, but you were wrong. Our company specializes in low-cost, very affordable SR22 auto insurance for high-risk drivers. We know that mistakes happen, so take pride in being able to offer absolutely free quotes for this very affordable auto insurance meant specifically for you, the overpaying high-risk driver. We're standing by at 800-758-0725. The only thing you need to do is stop waiting around while your monthly payments stay as high as they are. Our knowledgeable representatives are ready for your call at 800-758-0725. The quote is free, and we'll even handle the filings so you could start saving money every month even sooner. Call 800-758-0725. That's 800-758-0725. Once more, 800-758-0725.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
Do you have an old car sitting in your driveway? How would you like to learn a hassle-free way to get rid of it, help kids in need, and get a great tax donation in the process? It's real easy. One simple free call to our car donation hotline is all it takes. Call the Neshama Foundation at 800-760-4895, 800-760-4895. We'll come pick your car up for free and give you a tax donation for the full value of the car, running or not. The value of your unwanted car will go to help kids in need. It's fast and easy. Just call us and your car will be gone and on its way to helping children in 48 hours. And you get a nice tax deduction. Call the Neshama Foundation now to get rid of your car, help kids, and get a tax write-off. Call 800-760-4895. 800-760-4895. 800-760-4895. That's 800-760-4895.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow, the sports professor. This is an Everything Indy 500 episode. You heard from AJ Foyt. You heard a little from Larry Foyt. We took a break about halfway through the interview. We're hitting you back with the second half of that interview as promised. And then more Indy 500 after that, breaking down everything behind the race on the business side, marketing, endorsements, and everything in between. Here's Rick.
So let's go back to that for a minute. Now you've been running AJ Foyt Enterprises for a decade, and when you were involved in learning the business or knowing the business, this you call it a split and it's over, but it was a massive schism. I mean, it was Hatfield McCoy's. So at the time, who were the rallying forces basically that caused it to come back together, and how was life in the division different than life as it is today?
Sure. Well, what you hate to see are the fans divided, because you had some fans that were loyal to one side and some fans that were loyal to the other. But for us on the business side, the good thing was, as I came back over and started to get involved in the business side, and you kind of say how that happened, in my second Indy 500, I actually broke my back in a pretty big crash. So I started wanting to get more involved on the business side as I was stepping out of the car. And the biggest thing with us is here you have AJ Foyt, you have a legend who won everything, won in many decades, front engine cars, rear engine cars. And at the same time, I felt like our team hadn't really taken that step into the modern era, and we were still a little bit set in some old school ways. So that was my thing. I said, Dad, if I come into this, you have to let me modernize. We have to start charging ahead. And that's what's been great, and it takes great partners to do that. We got aligned with ABC Supply. Now they've been our sponsor the last 12 years, which is unbelievable. In fact, now they are the longest full-time running sponsor in IndyCar, which is great. And that's what's let us grow. Back then we were one car. We're up to two, and now three in Indianapolis with the iWeight Championship car. So it's exciting.
So the idea of asking the namesake, the icon, to kind of leave you alone and let you run the business. I'm sure he said, "Yeah, I'll do it," but did he really?
Of course not. And I wouldn't ask him that, because especially when he's always my biggest bank of information. You know, he's still. It's amazing how up to date he is with everything every day. I rarely make big decisions without talking to him. Of course, I mean, he's still the boss, and his experience and knowledge, you can't put a number on that. It's unbelievable.
Is there a tension ever between preserving the old and modernizing? And it's always something business schools warn about. But how do you preserve the legacy and move on and be relevant?
Well, I think we pay a lot of tribute to all his success, and that's one way I think we keep. It's amazing even how at his age the fans, even at Indianapolis, still love him. I mean, when he walks out through Gasoline Alley, the fans just go nuts and really appreciate all of his accomplishments. And I think the thing is, too, he can do it all, which is pretty rare. I mean, he was a mechanic, an engineer, a driver, so he really knows every part of that race car, and people respect that.
The building of the brand, and maybe more important, the sustaining of the brand. And the textbooks all talk about the Arnold Palmers and the Jack Nicklaus's and the younger LeBron James and the Michael Jordans. You know, AJ Foyt's in that category too. How do you look ahead to the longevity of the brand, and how do you make sure you sustain it?
Well, we want to win. I mean, that's number one for us, is getting back in victory lane. And it's been since 2013 since we won a race, and it's been since 1999 since we won the Indy 500. So we know we have our work cut out for us, and that's by growing and modernizing. We feel like we're getting more competitive every year. And that's what we want to do. Is the Foyt brand is built on winning, and that's what we want to do.
I'm sure there will be another Foyt perspective on this, but do you like the way the business is going?
I do. Like I said, we want more wins, and And AJ reminds us of that every day because that's what he wants to do is win. But we've got great partners, and that's letting us grow the team to where we need to be.
A little nervous about fans, NASCAR. You have to ask that question of the France family, and you see the attendance, television attendance. How do you deal with the challenges of sustaining excellence?
Well, I think we obviously live in a much different world than we did in past generations, where maybe the automobile was the most important thing in your life and was a huge part of your young adult life. Where now technology has advanced so far to where telephones and data and all the information we have as young kids are kind of leading the way. So I think that really trends towards our cars. Our cars are fast and sleek, and they're really supercomputers running around the racetrack gathering data all the time. So I think it'll really appeal to young fans.
So speaking of young driver like Zach Veach, I mean, you look at that car, and plus he's 4'8", 38 pounds. How does he? He bulks up every day and he gets in that car, and he's an athlete. You must be proud to see a kid like that in that car.
Well, he is. I've seen some photos and video of him doing his rock climbing, where he gains a lot of his strength, and it's really impressive. So a lot of these young drivers, what's great is we've got little guys like Zach who are strong, but then also bigger guys who get it done as well. So it's really all over the board, and I think we have a really good driver in Zach.
Well, Larry Foyt, I really appreciate your perspective, but we need to go from the perspective of one of the youngest guys. He's looked like he's 12, Zach Veach, to an icon.
As promised, Indy 500 galore. Rick Horrow hits you with more exclusive interviews as he sits down with Zach Veach, the young driving phenom behind the Women in Tech event. Rick, take it away.
Very, very interesting dynamic over the next few weeks. It's a merger of golf and racing and more racing and more racing, but primarily racing and economic development. We're here at the unveiling of the Indy Women in Tech Championship car driven by Zach Veach. Zach, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and we're here to talk about so much more. First of all, take my hat off to you. You are, I don't know what it is Fountain of Youth-wise, but you're 22 going on 12. How did you do it?
That is the problem. I don't know. I guess really good or bad genes, if we want to talk about it that way. One thing I do when I'm out of a race car is I help out with the IndyCar two-seater where we give rides, and Mario Andretti is like the face of that program, and we'll always be out, giving rides, and Mario always introduces me as just turning 13, so that's something I've had to live with for a while, but hey, I'll appreciate it in like 20 years.
Yes, you will. And you're also not going to tell Mr. Andretti that he can't, right? He can do whatever he wants to when he introduces you.
Well, I think, that's part of paying your dues, right? Maybe in another 40 years I'll be able to do the same.
Well, but a meteoric rise through the world of racing, and first of all, it doesn't come cheap, and it doesn't come to the faint of heart. So kind of give us a snapshot of your early days, from your karting days to your F200, 2000 series and beyond. How'd you get here?
Oh, it's something that didn't come as easy as I thought it would be when I was 6 years old with this dream. But it kind of goes back to my start. As my father was a national champion of truck and tractor pulling, and I credit a lot of my success as just the way that I was raised and the parents that I had, because once he knew I was serious about this, for 9 years I begged that I wanted to race, and he won the World Finals and thought, well, he's serious about this, I'm going to quit my dream, which was what he thought about since he was a little boy, so I'd have an opportunity to chase mine. So my dad told me one thing that stuck with me my entire career, and it was, I'll work as hard as you do, and I'll take you to the track anytime you want to go. And anytime turned into every day, because I felt I got a late start and I wanted to push, and then I just learned that it's something that you get what you put in it. And I've just had that work ethic that my dad's taught me since opening his own company and starting my career.
Traditional school, traditional high school, traditional undergrad? Or?
Traditional school up to 8th grade, and then I was missing something like 60 days a year, and my public school kind of frowned upon that. So I had to make the decision to go online and lose my friends in my community, but I gave that up so I could have this dream.
Now you make different friends.
Yeah, well,
Epiphany moment. So sometime before 8th grade, you said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be all in, I'm going to do it well, I'm going to win. You take that dream. Your dad also helped in the business, obviously, but how do you turn that dream into a business reality?
It's got to be something that you think about every day of your life. It's the same with racing, that every morning when I get out of bed, I want to better myself, improve myself in this, high competitive world of motorsports. And one side of that is the business side. And, being a young kid, 22 years old, it's tough to step into the boardroom with people that have been doing business for 60 years and try to prove that you're effective in a way. And my way to help people is through the form of motorsports. So I've been very lucky up to this point using a lot of outlets to kind of differ myself from the typical racing driver. I published my own book when I was 16. I helped with anti-texting while driving, anti-bullying, because I wanted to use racing as my stage to meet with people. And with the Indy Women in Tech Championship, it gives me another opportunity to help people, and that's something I'm really appreciative of.
Don't minimize the book that you wrote, this 99 Things Teens Knew Before Turning 16, and this anti-texting app, URTXT. I still text, it hit me in the head, and there are a lot of people who will do it, and it takes somebody with vision at an early age to say don't do it. What motivated you to do that?
Well, unfortunately, my envision of that came because we had a traumatic experience in my hometown. I come from a small farm town of about 200 people, so when something affects one of us, it really affects us all. And I lost a close friend due to texting while driving, and I thought, I'm in this environment where a lot of kids look up to me. I'm driving, these race cars, so I should be, the focus point on good driving. So I thought that would be a perfect way for me to share my experience with kids about how dangerous texting while driving is, because if a driver going 240 miles an hour around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway doesn't text and drive, somebody who just got their license probably shouldn't either.
I think they both shouldn't. That's probably a good idea, ladies and gentlemen. But the interesting thing about that dynamic is that a lot of athletes who are role models, you hear it all over the place, will arrive and then they figure out how to give back, either because they're told to or because they want to. You're doing this at an early age before you've reached the pinnacle of your career. So kudos.
Tune in to a little R&R on Sports every Saturday morning. There's no other sports show like R&R on Sports anywhere. It's a little R&R on Sports, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780. Nobody really needs or wants home security until it's too late. You've heard the statistics about how many burglaries there are per day. You see the news. You know there are people out there that do bad things. The best way to help protect your home and your property is with an ADT monitored system from Protect Your Home, an ADT authorized premier provider. Call right now to get a free wireless home security system valued at $850. An ADT monitored system can help protect your home from fires, theft, floods, and call for emergency help. Call now to find out more about our $850 free wireless home security system and start enjoying the peace of mind of security today. Call 800-587-4281, 800-587-4281, 800-587-4281. This offer is for new customers only. Termination fees apply. $99 customer installation charge and 36-month monitoring agreement required. All for details. License terms and conditions available at secureathome.com.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government. and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard. Rick Horrow, the sports professor, is bringing you an Everything Indy 500 episode. This is the second half of his interview with Zach Veach. Check it out. Here's Rick.
You're doing this at an early age before you've reached the pinnacle of your career. So kudos, and how important it is to continue that focus and make sure the charitable work continues.
It's only getting easier now that I've arrived per se to the highest level of motorsports in America. Because as a young guy, everybody dreams of being to the Verizon IndyCar Series, but it's so difficult to get there. Unfortunately, the sad thing is not all of us make it. So early on in my career, I didn't know how much time that I would have. I knew this is something I wanted to dedicate my life to, but there's a lot of factors that go in that drivers can't control that keep them out of the seat. And that's why I was encouraged to get my early start to do as much as I could while I could, and while I was relevant, I should say. And it's just only gotten bigger and bigger from here.
Well, and the story of how this all happened is an interesting one. Tell it from your perspective. So the Ford organization got a hold of Dan Towers and Guggenheim, and the deal was put together in fairly short order, wasn't it?
I think
lightning speed.
It was one of the shortest deals done in Indy history, probably. For me, that was kind of the thing. It was a goal line for me. I knew I only had a few more days to make something happen, and I was so eager. It's everybody around me knew how stressful of a time that was. I had about a week and a half, and I called a local friend of mine who's a pastor here in Indiana, and he passed along Dan's contact to me and thought this might be someone you'd like to speak with. And I actually sent Dan an email. He scheduled a call, and we kind of just hit it off, and things kind of snowballed to this point. But I knew I had a great organization behind me with Foyt Racing, and just with Dan's establishment with Guggenheim and with Indy Women in Tech, it was just perfect timing for all of us. So, I think I got the nudge from some other place to make this happen.
Well, whether you got the nudge from some other place or not, it is kismet, it's synergistic, it's whatever you want to call it. But you'll find Dan's incredible philanthropy, and obviously yours. You start early at giving back before you've arrived. So great things planned. Right? You just got to do well on the track, too.
Well, that's the easy part, I think. It's definitely going to be extremely competitive, but, I'm a driver. My place at home's in the cockpit of a race car, and it's 4 days and about 21 hours until we're on track here at Indy. So, for me, that's when all of this gets calm and quiet for me, and I can get to go to work. But, all this hard work has gone into the moment of the greatest race in the world, and I just think it's funny for my family now because, I was 4 years old and I told them that one day I was going to race in the Indianapolis 500, and they kind of laughed because they're like, sure, next week you want to be an astronaut or something else. And that vision just never changed for me, and I just made the commitment that I was going to do whatever it took to get here. And I was just lucky enough to find people like Dan, Indy Women in Tech, Guggenheim, and Foyt for having me aboard.
It's a great story, and by the way, parents don't ever admit that they told you that they'd make fun of you. There was like, I've been there all the time.
Well, see, that's why, I bring this out. But no, my family was extremely supportive, and they still are today. I mean, I think a lot of it goes down to the opportunities I was given as a kid, and my father's still my biggest role model and biggest supporter through all of this.
What do you say to the idiots that say race car drivers aren't athletes?
You know, for me, the easiest way to express that to them is to give them a ride in a two-seater.
Yeah.
Because a lap around Indy, and they realize how difficult it is. And, you know, for me, it's no lie that I'm kind of a smaller guy. You know, I say that I'm 6'4".
We propped him up on a couple of telephones.
Yeah, well, that's, you guys don't need to see the below
right.
shot.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, no, it's something that I'm training every day for, because our cars are the most physical, demanding in the world. We don't have power steering, you know, anti-lock brakes. You know, this is still the pure form of motorsports, where it comes down to what the driver can do with a race car. And quite honestly, I hope we never stray from that, because A, it makes it really difficult on me as a young guy coming into these, you know, heavy to drive cars. But, you know, that's just, I'm a workhorse when it comes to motorsports, and that's just another part of the piece that I got to get together. And luckily, St. Vincent's has prepared me to do that, and I feel, you know, ready to take on this task.
So the St. Vincent's piece of this, so you're mentally strong, obviously you wouldn't be here, but the physical part, you work out every day?
Work out, you know, about 5 days a week. The Saturday and Sunday is kind of my own thing to do with cardio, but, you know, through us, you got to think that our heart rates in the car usually are 160 to 180 beats per minute. And a race on average is 2 hours to 3 hours long. So, you know, that's equivalent as a marathon runner basically doing his thing. So for us, not only do we have to handle the high heart rate, we have to handle the heat of being in a thick fire suit.
Right. And you can't move for how long?
Well, when you're making a seat, you're in the car for an hour and a half, or you got to sit there. But basically on the racetrack, yeah, you're in it for 2 to 3 hours, completely strapped down. The only thing that's moving is your legs, arms, and neck.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear that, okay? I really want you to hear that. And then the idea of going 200 miles an hour, and you're how close to another car that's going the same speed, but it's all relative, so it doesn't look like it.
Well, that's the thing. You know, people always ask me, what's it like going 230 miles an hour? And, you know, it becomes relevant because you, the more you do it, your mind slows it down. And like you said, the other cars are going relatively 5 miles an hour within what you're doing. So it doesn't seem like you're going 200 miles an hour until something goes wrong. And a lot of the times it happens before you can even realize that, you know, something has gone wrong.
Yeah. You're a happy guy. You're a cheerful guy. Do you have any fears going into a race?
You know, my biggest fear is not what can happen to me in a race car. My biggest fear is not becoming what I've always wanted to be. And that's an Indianapolis 500 champion, a Verizon IndyCar Series champion. You know, I want to live my life to the fullest, and I want to accomplish the goals I've set out from an early age, and this is a great step to get to that. We saw a rookie win the Indy 500 last year, so that doesn't mean a rookie can't do it this year.
And by the way, I could add a few more questions, and then there's the normal gratuitous media training that people give. You don't need that.
Well, thank you. I
that was
appreciate
wonderful.
that.
Thank you.
Means a
Good
lot.
luck. Dan Towers, CEO of Guggenheim Life. How are you?
Doing well, thanks.
Awesome. This comes together at breakneck speed. First of all, you know special events. You wanted to make sure that your hometown had a significant event. You had the financial means to do something, and you put this event together, the Women in Tech Championship, in record time. Basically, how'd you do it?
Well, we had a lot of great support in the community. I think the track has been tremendous, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You know, that for me was really the linchpin in getting the deal done. The footprint that the track offers for a tournament to be more than just a golf tournament. You know, for us, again, this was about a philanthropy effort. It's about our Women in Tech initiative. And the track really presented that perfect opportunity. So often a golf tournament is in a resort area, in the outlying part of the community. Here we've got it in the heart of the city, in an urban setting with a tremendous footprint, with a tremendous history. It's a Pete Dye course. And so for us, it couldn't be a more perfect combination.
Well, the assets certainly were a perfect combination, but the partnership with Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Indy 500, Mark Miles and his organization, pretty positive, pretty significant, isn't it?
Oh, it's been very significant. So Mark was great, Doug Bowles, Allison Millington, all the folks at the Speedway were just tremendous in putting this together. You know, and in combination with the LPGA, similar thing on that side. Mike Wan and Ricky Lasky, all the folks at the LPGA were just tremendous as we looked to combine and really just be a team in going after this project. And that's really, that team effort is what helped it to come together so quickly.
And the idea of using the track, because let's face it, they are probably one of the biggest technology drivers in the entire state, if not in the country. And your inspired idea of workforce training, STEM, robotics, empowering women and girls for the first time. You're proud of that accomplishment. How did that all come about?
Yeah, so in working with former Mayor Ballard, as he said, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the premier engineering facility in the state. And so to use that as a backdrop for a Women in Tech Championship, to promote STEM, to promote robotics, to promote career retraining for, again, to promote women in the workforce, it just all came together in a way that was really unprecedented.
So let's talk about the major event and its impact on the city. Obviously, Mayor Ballard, but the Super Bowl group that's more the Indy Sports Corp. There's a real opportunity in a city like Indianapolis to make a statement on an annual basis. How important is this event, in your estimation, to the city of Indianapolis?
Yeah, I think it's very important. One, Indianapolis has a tradition for just opening up and being a tremendous location for big sporting events, and I think it's no different here. The way that the city, the way the community leaders, the women have come together to form the local organizing committee. You don't realize how daunting a task it is to organize a golf tournament without a club behind you, without volunteers, without all the folks that do that. And in this case, we had just people coming out of the woodwork to support because of what a successful sporting event means to the city and what this event means in supporting women in this location.
And the final piece is you have a significant number of the world's greatest female athletes really excited about coming to a new venue, but also participating in an event that's going to have a major impact on society, first locally and potentially nationally. How do you feel about all this?
Yeah, so again, with the LPGA, you have an international tour. The women are just tremendous role models. It's the way they interact with the fans, the way they interact with the community, the way they can carry a cause. And so again, they really connect with people in a deeper way than what you would typically expect for professional athletes coming in. And then when you take into account the fact that their outreach is on an international scale, it just really starts to open up a number of opportunities to bring that exposure and focus onto the Women in Tech initiative.
And the LPGA, as people understand more about it on a global scale, they realize it is a diverse organization with multi-talented individuals doing a whole lot of good things.
Absolutely, and I think one of the things we want to do for the LPGA Tour in this event is to help the community, help the fans really get to know the players on a deeper level, because they can really appreciate just how talented, how special, and how great of a role model each of these players are. And so I think one of the things we want to do is to, especially for the international players, is to introduce them into the community so that it feels again like an international tour from that standpoint, and that familiarity, that recognition will be there.
Finally, maybe most importantly, I understand and I know that your day job is international in scope, intergalactic in scope, but you are practicing pretty significantly. You don't understand that it's bad form if you win the Pro-Am in the event that you sponsor. Do you understand that?
I think it would be good form in that sense, but I'm not counting on that happening given my time in the office, but we'll see what happens.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're saving that comment. We're going to play that back for you in October and see if it's really true. Dan, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply, subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow, and this is Beyond the Scoreboard. Memorial Day weekend upon us, and crossover sponsors are revving their engines in Indianapolis. Pacers guard Jeff Teague sponsoring driver Buddy Lazier's entry in the 101st Indy 500, which will see Lazier's Chevy Sport number 44, a Team Teague sticker, and the Factory at D1 Sports decal. D1 is the name of the 33,500 square foot state-of-the-art gym Teague is opening in Indy. His business manager, Jamal Barnes, says not many athletes, let alone a hometown kid playing for the hometown team, have their own logos and decals on an Indy 500 car. But Teague isn't the only crossover athlete fronting an IndyCar decal this weekend. Zach Veach drives the number 40 Chevy IndyCar for A.J. Foyt Racing, representing the inaugural LPGA Indy Women in Tech presented by Guggenheim tournament taking place at the Brickyard Crossing course in September. While estimates vary for what it costs to sponsor a car at the Indy 500, the last study commissioned by the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 2000 pegged the Indy 500 economic impact at $336 million, probably much more now. Just call it Motorsports Econ 101 at 230 miles per hour. Cleveland Cavaliers and Goodyear announced a jersey patch sponsorship beginning next season. The deal will also involve Turner Sports, which the Cavs hired to help amplify the deal nationally. Turner's in-house agency, Ignite, will create custom Goodyear-branded content to appear on TNT NBA coverage and provide media services for the Cavs. First such deal for Ignite, which is aligning itself with other NBA jersey patch deals. Sources have noted that the deal makes good sense because Goodyear is headquartered in nearby Akron, the hometown of LeBron James, as we all know. The deal reportedly worth upwards of $10 million a year, making it the most lucrative of the 6 jersey patch deals signed to date. Goodyear's other sports sponsorships include Ohio's Pro Football Hall of Fame, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and the College Football Playoff. While the Goodyear deal is reportedly 8 figures, None of the jersey patch deals would have been made without the foresight of the 76ers and jersey patch sponsor partner StubHub, who pioneered the innovative revenue opportunity for the NBA. Well, that's our show for the day, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank Tanner Simpkin for putting the show together. We'd like to thank Larry Foyt and AJ Foyt for giving us a sense of history and perspective as we head into the Indy 500. And we thank you all for listening and watching, and join us once again next week when we go Beyond the Scoreboard.